what's your story? So today I've got a special guest, is Larry. Am I correct? Do I pronounce it correctly?
You did it perfectly. It's Larry Levin, and it's good to be here in Chicago with you.
Yeah, so we are in Chicago at the ECRM show. So you've been a speaker today. Could you present yourself, please? What do you do? What's your daily job?
Yeah, thanks. So my name's Larry Levin, and I am one of the leaders of our consumer shopper marketing organization within IRI, and I do a lot of speaking to various groups of industry trends in the consumer packaged goods arena. So I've always been an insights guy, and it's my 40th year doing it, so I guess it's fun.
Yes. It was very interesting. Well, Larry, could you give us an overview of the retail market in US?
Yeah. So the retail market is about an $800 billion business in the way we measure it, which is food, drug, mass, Walmart, club, military, convenience channel. And if you think about the whole business, even in-home and out-of-home, it's about a $1.6 trillion business. So there's a lot of opportunities that manufacturers and retailers have to connect with each other, whether I'm at home or I'm on the go.
Yes, sure. And regarding the online sector, do you put it together or is that separate?
Yeah, so that's separate, but the online segment is so important today. Today it's probably tracking at about, I'd say $20 billion. It's a relatively small part of the total CPG industry, but it's where all the growth is coming.
Yes.
And we're seeing double-digit growth in a lot of different categories, whether it's in candy, whether it's in cosmetics and personal care. There's a lot of growth happening, a lot of momentum, and we're predicting that by 2022 there will be roughly $88 billion in revenue online. And so digital is not a nice to have, it's a must have.
Yeah.
And the thing that's fascinating about it is that 3/4 of all trips start online. So you have to have that digital connection as a consumer, and it's going to be even more profound as millennials and Gen Z, the younger generation right behind them.
Gen Z, I never heard of it.
I call it the Zeneration. And it's the newest generation. Right now, the oldest are about 21 years old, so they're just getting their feet wet and shopping.
Yeah.
But they're going to be an important element. And when you think about the size of Gen Z and you think about the size of millennials, they're more than half the population of the United States. I imagine that mirrors in Europe and other spots too, but it creates a whole different environment because they are not just digitally native. The first group of consumers who grew up strictly online, but they're also more multicultural.
Yeah.
And so as a result, you have a greater influence of Hispanics coming to the United States, greater influence of Asians and other cultures.
In products also. Yeah.
Well, first in people and then that evolution into products. Yeah. And so as you think about how are you going to win, it's coming by winning at the individual level. It's all about personalization.
So, yes, so all the internet basically is about, as you said earlier, digging information, yes?
Yeah.
I wrote down the word digging information about your product. So imagine I am a European brand and I want to conquer the American. I've got the American dream. Will you be able to give a few tips?
Yeah, I think first it's know the size of your opportunity. Be realistic about the size of your opportunity. Who are the consumers that want it? I've done a lot of work for some different countries in Europe where they want to bring their brands in, the authentic brands that they've got. And they recognize that they're not going to be all things to all people, but they're going to appeal especially to the population that moved from the homeland to the United States, and they want to bring that authenticity. So if you're going to be a European brand trying to make it here, it starts with authenticity. Got to bring...
Story?
Pardon?
A story?
Not just a story, but your product's got to be authentic.
Okay.
If you're a Parisian product and you're really successful in France, and you bring it to the United States, and you're trying to appeal to that same type of consumer, you want to make sure that you're bringing that quality so that it transfers from my expectations as a European consumer to what an American consumer with maybe European heritage or just a preference for European products would want. And think about...
So authentic.
Yeah.
Number two?
Yeah, I think again, realize the size of your opportunity. Don't over-engineer your opportunity. Be realistic, and think too about where you want to bring your product, because as we said earlier, it's not about perfect distribution, being distributed perfectly. You really want to think about the fact that if you're going to have a product that's tailored to a very unique population, you want to make sure you know where that population's at. Are they shopping in boutique stores? Are they shopping online? Are they shopping at mainstream brands like Kroger or Publix? But
how do they eat? Do they eat in their car? You say car.
Yeah.
How do you call them? The car?
Yeah, so portability is really important, and 25% of Americans tell us they eat in their car, and 40% of millennials do. So I came up with the term Carfeteria.
Cafeteria. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. Because the car is a dining room table. And I'm sure
Yeah.
it's the same in Europe. I mean, it becomes a new place to eat. And as a matter of fact, Honda, one of the biggest car manufacturers in the United States and in the world, responded a couple of years ago by putting a vacuum cleaner in the back of its minivan.
Oh, really?
So the
Okay.
car companies are giving acknowledgement to the fact that we're eating on the go, and portability is important.
But people live in their car. I live in England and I spend my life on the A1.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
No, I'm in Los Angeles, and you have to have a comfortable car, and you got to be ready for a long commute. It's just part of the business.
So yeah, you're going to it.
Yeah.
So okay, so we say authentic.
Yeah.
Then number 2 was I just forgot.
So did I.
Personalized.
I don't remember.
Well,
Actually.
number 3 is personalization, isn't it?
Specialization.
Personalization.
Yes,
Yeah.
personalization is really important, because, again, it's one size does not fit all. One size has to fit me.
Yeah.
Okay, and so the personalization's got to start with how to rightly communicate with me, how to understand the
Engage.
Huh?
How we engage.
Yeah, how do we engage? How do we create products that are meaningful to what I want? And then again, give me that experience that maybe enables me to personalize my choice. Think about going into a bulk candy store and having the pick of any candy you want, but customizing your package, customizing your coffee. And then, another thing that's really important in this whole personalization is this whole notion of grocerants. And grocery stores are becoming the new restaurant. And so do I have the right assortment in front of the right consumers as people look at dining in, coming from the grocery store? That's an $11 billion business in the United States now, value-added, ready-to-serve products. And then you have that evolution of things like Grubhub and Plated and all of these Meals on Wheels that are really appealing again to millennials. And one of the things I think that's important too, and especially Europe can capitalize on this, is the experience of the food. And
What about the experience?
well,
yeah?
making the food, and maybe some of the launches that your folks can think about as they come here is partnering with companies that deliver meals, and all you got to do is prepare it yourself. But it can help somebody who's not very confident in cooking
Yeah.
cook an authentic French meal, okay, or an authentic Italian meal. So,
Right. So shall we wrap up?
if you want,
Yeah.
we can wrap up. It's been a lot of fun, and I definitely thank you for an opportunity to speak to your audience, and hopefully it's going to be worthwhile for them.
Yes. So I'd like to finish with a quote,
Okay.
Larry. So will you have a quote for our audience, for our European manufacturer, for example?
Yeah, I guess one of my quotes would be around "Will you still love me tomorrow?" And
I love that one.
and that is a great song by the Shirelles, written by Carole King, but it plays so well in new product innovation, because you've got to support your baby in the second year. New product innovation is not about a love them and leave them relationship. You've got to nurture your brand like you nurture your kid. And you've got to continue to support in the second year. I've seen in the United States where 30% of products get delisted in the second year because
quite scary.
they're not supported. So advertising, marketing, new product innovation, it's all part of that whole, will you still love me tomorrow?
Will you still love me tomorrow?
Will you still love me tomorrow?
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
It's been a blast being here. The European way.